Research time. What you got?
Well, I found this to be very, very interesting. Evidently, the Players Association asked the players to give report cards on their particular teams and how they liked or disliked the facilities. And when they talk about the facilities, they're not just talking about the building itself, but that is a part of it. But they're also talking about how they feel the coaching staff treats them, how they feel the organization treats their families, like their wives, their children, um, the team doctors, the training staff, and they must have given them ratings, okay, scores as to how much they thought they were doing a good job and some that they thought weren't doing a good job. I found this to be extremely interesting because, you know, we all have our ideas about who we think are the best teams and the worst teams when it comes to on the field play. And you would maybe sort of kind of assume that the better teams on the field would have better facilities, or the players would enjoy the facilities a little better than maybe other teams. But that is not necessarily the case. In fact, just to start off, there's 32 teams in the league, right? So I'm not going to go over every team, but I'm going to give you the top 10 and the bottom 10. And I think you're going to find some surprises. Now, this is what they did was they asked the players to rate their team. And they gave them certain things to rate them on, the facilities, the training staff, things like that, okay? The number one team, the team that the players liked the best, was actually the Minnesota Vikings. After them, it was the Dolphins, the Raiders, the Houston Texans, the Cowboys, the Packers, the Niners, the Giants, and in that order, the Buffalo Bills and the New Orleans Saints. That's the top 10 from 1 to 10, okay? Now, here's the bottom 10. Here's where I found some surprises. Let's see, bottom 10 down to 32. It started 23, right? Not surprising, Atlanta Falcons. Surprising, New England Patriots, Los Angeles Rams, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This is the bottom of the barrel here, gang. Cincinnati Bengals, Jacksonville Jaguars, Kansas City Chiefs, Los Angeles Chargers, and then not so surprising, Arizona Cardinals and Washington Commanders. I thought that was amazing.
The Chiefs?
The Chiefs are in the bottom 10. They're actually, in fact, out of 32 teams, the Chiefs are number 29.
The Chiefs. I'd love to see that report card then.
Yeah.
I mean, first of all, that my Niners are in the top 10.
Yes.
My beloved Niners makes me happy, and your Giants is hanging up in there with us. You know what I mean? But yeah, I'd love to see that. That's an interesting report card. And I remember hearing it, and I remember we posted the article there, and it asked the question, what was the name of the owner for the Commanders that just left?
Daniel Snyder.
Right. They asked the question, was Daniel Snyder actually the worst owner in the NFL when you compared him to Bidwell with the Cardinals?
Right.
So they actually asked that question. Amazing.
So, but that kind of makes sense. An owner who's so nefarious in other ways also doesn't show that he really loves his players because the facilities are not up to par.
Now I understand the Cardinals are the only facility that charges their players for meals.
Yes, they do not supply meals. Here's some other interesting things I found. Let me see. Cincinnati Bengals, showers and toilets consistently not working. They closed the Bengals cafeteria on days when players are encouraged to voluntarily report to the facility. So these voluntary workouts are starting, cafeteria won't be open. What? That's crazy. Isn't that crazy?
What?
That's the Cincinnati Bengals.
What?
Yes. Kansas City Chiefs ranked a surprising 29th, like I said, which is the 4th worst in the league. They were hurt by older facilities, discontent with head trainer Rick Burkholder. Oh yeah, they got personal. They believe he does not treat the players fairly and consistently. No training staff ranked worse in the league than the Kansas City training staff. The players reported they feel discouraged from reporting their injuries. Does that sound crazy or what? They fear retribution for speaking up for better care. Can you believe that?
This is blowing my mind.
I'm going to make sure that we get this article on our Facebook page so people can see.
Yeah, I need to read. I need to read this and sleep on this for a minute, because I mean, everything that I think an HR person would tell you about how to, energize your workforce and all of that kind of stuff. You know what I mean?
Right.
But again, you think back to who a lot of these owners are, their philosophies politically. A lot of them are very much Republican. You know what I mean? So they're much more like, well, we're gonna think right now they got a bill out. They're negotiating with, or trying to negotiate with Biden about the debt limit, raising the ceiling and all of that kind of good stuff, and they're proposing that, and before they'll allow that to happen, they want him to do certain things, like they want to make sure that the people who are on assistance work. So they want to put a work requirement in. I guess if you're getting food stamps or welfare or anything like that, they want to put a work requirement in. So, and they want to hold the debt ceiling hostage for that. I don't want to go too far into the politics, but what I'm saying too is this a very conservative group in terms of money. And so it doesn't surprise me that they might think along those lines. The Patriots, as much as he is a philanthropist and very liberal towards certain causes, him and what's his name from Philly hang out, Tom
very
Brady
rich.
there. I never heard Tom Brady really complain about any of that kind of stuff.
These are not things you're going to hear players say. When we hear players talk, it's in post-game interviews or upcoming games. They talk about football. They don't talk about the facilities.
Yeah, plus the players are the best politicians. They don't really tell you anything, anyway. So, you're absolutely right about that. You're not going to hear.
It's probably a taboo subject, to tell you the truth. But here's just a couple more just to tell you how bad this thing can be. Talking about the Cardinals. They've been complaining they have a lot of concerns about the safety of their weight room, a place where they spend a lot of time. Uneven floors and peeling floorboards in the weight room, very unsafe. Carolina, the area where their pool is very unsafe. Very, very slippery surface. Several players have already fallen. Luckily, nobody's been seriously injured. Jacksonville Jaguars, rat infestation.
What?
I'm serious. I'm very serious.
Oh my God.
Okay, so I don't want to go too much deeper into that.
I can see me now. And I'll be like, trade me. Wow, we got rats. I'm not.
I need to get out of
that building. Trade mine.
I mean, I guess you learn how to work around this stuff, I don't know. But anyway, I found that article very interesting. I got it from Yahoo Sports. I'll make sure that we get it up on the Facebook page so people can check into their respective teams.
That's crazy. That's crazy, Benny.